you live from an upload speed of 1.17 megabytes per second. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 158th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as every week, am Log Power Slave, and I am joined by Fearless Lawmaster and Tarkov Weirdo, Mylan Games.
Hey, I resent that.
Tarkov
Weirdo. Do you know that
I watched your stream all morning. I liked it.
Had more people watching than Fortnite. Thank you very much. But yeah, I do look a little bit disheveled, to be honest. Someone came in. I did the stream yesterday for the Gamblets.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's
the Gamblems.
Yeah,
the Gambit emblems. And Danny came in and she was still in her work clothes, so she was looking very nice and professional. And someone said to me in chat,
I was there,
Matt, you look like the guy that goes to Centrelink and doesn't tell Centrelink that your wife earns bank.
Not wrong whatsoever, honestly.
It
was like,
yeah.
Dude, Maddie's batting overs. It's fine. But I think we all are, really, aren't we?
There you go.
It's going good. It's going good. So, I mean, just to close out on that front, today is the day that the Destiny FANZ Australian bushfire appeal closes out. So at midnight tonight, I think Australian time, it'll shut down. I'm not sure because it's, who knows, the world is round, all that sort of shit. But
what are we at? 26,000 and something
right now. $27,117. There's a lot of sevens in that. I feel like Bungie would approve.
We're close to the 30,000.
Right? I know, right?
Give yourself a pat in the back because you guys, we didn't donate 30,000 ourselves. You guys did that, so thank you for the support.
So yeah, I mean, if you're in stream and you want to give it one last fucking roll of the dice, that's rad. If you're catching this episode within the next day or so, I guess follow the link that'll be in the description of the video, and if you can still donate, you can still donate. I imagine it'll lock out and stop you if you can't. So there's that. But dude, it's been pretty crazy. So I think right off.
Well, done to you because look, I did fuck all basically as per usual.
I think your stream last night was pretty solid. I kind of made me cranky that you just don't stream playing Destiny. I was like sitting there going, you're perfectly capable at playing Destiny. You just we give you heaps of shit that you don't play it. You can play it and stream it. Yet you just fucking choose your nerdy little law books over everything else.
Yeah, look, I do enjoy streaming. I do. I think it's a lot of the time I'm just like, fuck, the internet's funny. I just think people have a really good sense of humor. I think if you go into streams and expect everything to be a joke and not take things, but one of my good friends, one of my best friends, and he's been supporting my YouTube channel since the very beginning. And you got friends who understand what you do and friends who don't care what you do and friends who just don't get it, basically. He's in the category of wants to understand it, really appreciates it, thinks it's really cool that I'm doing it, and it's just like a massive supporter. Always like, hey Matty, how's the channel going? We catch up for coffee each week and and when I got 10,000 subscribers, he got me a little fucking homemade trophy.
Oh, what?
A little star because he knew how fucking hard it was to get to 10,000, and he had this Mylan Games 10,000 subscribers some deal, right? So he comes into the stream with his actual fucking name because this is how much of a pleb he is.
He's got no online identity. Yeah, just dogs himself.
Just goes Destiny's dead, right? But no Kappa, no, just kidding. And then everyone got all fucking fired up, like, oh yeah, really dead game with and I was like, guys,
it's a troll. It's a troll.
I know him in real life. He's just messing with you. He's just messing with you.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. But
that's good. That's a fucking incredibly wholesome note to start the show on this week.
What?
Supportive friends doing things for charity.
Yeah.
Wow.
We gotta get some negative toxicity into here.
I know.
Otherwise,
I'm gonna try in a bit. I'm gonna try and up the toxicity later on in the show.
Have you got over your flu now?
Yeah, I'm back. I feel heaps better. I finally it was 3.5 weeks of just shit, and now I'm finally feeling human again. So I can live. I can exercise and stuff without like falling off the side of a treadmill and coughing up phlegm, which is hazardous and not something you want to do with your spare time. But yeah, it's been a big few weeks on that front, but it's over now. So we get to settle into some exciting new shit with the cast over the next few weeks, which we can talk about in a bit. But first things first, I think it's worth going through and rattling off the names of everyone who contributed to the bushfire appeal, who started a team, jumped in, and contributed. Whether your goal was large or small, it really doesn't matter to us. As long as you're happy and you feel like you've achieved what you wanted to achieve, that's all we could ask for. So, Team Faztaz, Tamsin, and Femi, legends. Ain't Pro, Riss, Shez, the Blankenship for Australia. I don't know who that is, but fucking excellent work. Guardians of Law. There's a General Destiny community one. Classy. Kiwi Rock, One Chance. Cobra Bites. There's one that's just from Canada to Australia with love, which sounds like the most off-brand Bond movie of all time. But I'll take it. Miss Sweet Devil, Anna Mana, Ishtar Collective, Toodley, Crazy J. There's a whole heap that are just named generic things. Next time, put your name in them, people, please. Tower, there's a heap. Right, okay. Most of the rest of them. Parthian, and right, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, there's a lot of sort of generically named ones. Next time, put your name on the name of the team. Good people. But, I mean, together to go through and to raise, what did I say? We're at 27,117 is pretty
awesome.
Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy.
It is. Well,
good.
Fucking pay yourself. I mean, like I said, classic me, I basically did something on the last day. My stream.
It worked though. We did have, that was incredibly kind of B to give us we've sort of recorded an episode between the stream the other night with Polar and your stream, where basically we had 50 of the sign of the Gambit, or Gamblit as we've renamed it, emblem to give out. That's normally just an event emblem. So we basically went, well, if you donate $50, you get the emblem, which you can't get really anywhere. I'm sure people are hawking them online like assholes do.
Yeah, wait, does everyone sell them for $300 online?
Yeah,
did you notice when I told people that, people started buying the emblem? I'm like, guys, this is the cheapest you're going to get this emblem, $50. You can't get these anywhere else. You can either get them at events, and they're probably not doing them anymore because
Gambit's a bit off the boil, so they're not going to be promoting it the way they were. Right. So yeah,
boom, I think it sold like hotcakes.
Making it rain for charity.
We did basically half with Polar, and then I did a stream last night on the YouTube, which every time I stream on YouTube, I just fucking hate that platform. It pisses me right off. I get
like as a viewer, it isn't that bad. It's heaps better than it used to be. Because I sat there and I did watch as much of it as I could. But
dude, I don't know how people went from Twitch to YouTube. Like, can you imagine you get Google taking 60% of your revenue every time? That's not just AdSense. That's fucking donations. That's membership. That's everything.
Jesus. Oh, no, look.
So I wonder,
this sounds like a later in the podcast conversation. We can unload.
So I got a bit cranky. Well, not a bit cranky. Every time someone brought it up, I got a bit cranky. But I left my MCN after 3 years.
I know. So taking the power back, Matt. Taking that power back.
Yeah,
I think it's a good move.
10%.
I reckon. Well, what we'll do, we'll blast through the news and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll get into like what we normally do, just talking whatever shit pops into our head. But probably the one other thing that I want to cover off on before we start talking about actual Destiny news is, last week we spoke about what happened with Sloth and all that sort of shit, and we're not going to linger on that for too long. It's long been our vision of the podcast, that it was as community oriented as we could possibly have it, specifically the Australian Destiny community. We basically birthed the podcast out of being a bit pissed off that there was no high profile Australian people doing anything to promote the Australian community. So on that note, what we're going to do from now on is, we've had a lot of people ask us, who are you going to get on the podcast? And the answer is, we're not going to get one person. We're going to basically have a group of our friends, content creators and the like, fill the third man slot for the podcast going forward. And, we don't want to stitch anyone up and throw someone into Sloth's seat while it's still warm. That's not right by us. We don't want to do that. So really what we're going to do is we're going to share it around a bit. We're going to get as much of the community involved over the next couple of months as we can and see how it works. And I think it's going to allow for us as a community to go to the next level. That's really what we've been looking for a while. And I think this has kind of serendipitously fallen in our lap, and we can now do this way, and it'll be great. So there'll be people that you know already that have been guests on the cast already. There'll be people that you probably haven't met before that will come in. And I think that that's an important part of it as well, to get, get everyone in, and it's everyone's community. And we've always viewed the DDU as an extension of the Australian community. So it's time to give it back. So on that note, going forward over the next few weeks, you'll probably see some familiar faces and not familiar faces pop up. And please make them feel welcome, because that's really all it's all about. Good.
Talking about things that are birthed out of fucking Australia missing out.
Yeah.
I had to laugh yesterday because Bungie's doing a giveaway with the anthology and the law books and stuff. And I retweeted it, and then I saw someone's reaction to it, and it's like, pity it doesn't ship to Australia. I'm like, what? And then I clicked on the tweet, and it was like, only available for UK, Canada, US, Europe. And I'm like,
convicts need not apply.
I fucking helped with those books.
You're not allowed to have one, Matt.
Do you know what I think it was? I don't think it's a shipping thing. I think it was that same issue that we ran into with running competitions in Australia.
Yeah,
because
the legalities of it are different. So
the legalities of it are different. So you can get away with it if you're just little old me, but you can't. Yeah, do that if you're Bungie.
We can touch on that. It's basically that in Australia you cannot give. You can't just run a random chance raffle. It has to be in some capacity a game of skill. So
otherwise it's gambling. Otherwise you got to apply for a license.
Yeah. So that's the deal. That's why when you see, Tamsin's in chat, her with the boots, to be able to give that away, it wasn't just a random giveaway. It was, enter this competition with your best screenshot. So, that's the way things work here. So they're the ropes that we have to jump through. And I imagine that when you're Bungie, you just go, that's a whole level of complication that we don't want. So it just doesn't happen, which is fine.
Put it this way. Little old me, I had 1,000 entries for the boots.
Read them all.
Imagine if you had a game of skill by Bungie and you have to manually look through fucking 50,000 entries.
Surely there's a work experience kid that could give it
to. Yeah, it's dumb, man.
It's a different animal. But that's why the world's such an interesting place, isn't it? But what we're going to do is we're going to get into talking Destiny news and enough lingering around on our own bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't expect me to read it.
This is the one problem we're going to have going forward. I hope the people who come on are literate as fuck.
So if you do come on the show,
you need to up your fucking reading game.
You do have one job, and the one job you will have is to basically read the TWAB, to summarize the TWAB.
I've gone back through and made fucking bullet points because that's the way my mind works.
Oh, so do we have bullet points?
Yeah, we got the run sheet.
Hit me up. What are the bullet points?
Son of a bitch. All right, so probably we'll read through the stuff that's in the TWAB, but So at Reset next week, we start the restoration effort for the Empyrean Foundation. Now, basically, the deal with it is we're going to go through it with Saint 14. He'll be the quest vendor, I imagine. He'll say something to us and try to inspire us to go and dump fractaline into the Tower Obelisk, which is basically the task, and it's a community task. So, it's obviously going to build towards something at the back end of the season, but what basically all you've got to do is go and put your fractaline in the Tower Obelisk, and to contribute it'll just be 100 fractaline. So I think we've all got a little bit of a reserve that we're sitting on at the moment, so we're going to be able to smash it easy up. So contributing generates a 25% flat progression for all time lost weapon bounties in your inventory, so you'll get through your work a little bit quicker. The Tower Obelisk will generate polarized fractaline for you each week, equivalent to its resonance power. So you'll get like a static amount based on how much you've upgraded it. It'll increase resonance power by upgrading other obelisks. So if you have not yet done the ones on Nessus or Io or everywhere else, get out there and do it now. Is there one on Io? No, Mars. I don't know. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Players who donate more than 5,000 fractaline before the end of the season will earn a triumph and an emblem.
That emblem reminds me of those.
It looked with spooky eyes. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it reminds me of. No, you know those. Oh, I don't know how to. They're like plastic. Look at me describe this. Like these little plastic things, and you put your pen into it, and it's like a cog and wheel.
A spirograph. A spirograph.
Yes.
How to like see? There's that part of my brain that has been storing that since year 3. That's just the one bit of my brain I haven't managed to kill with alcohol yet.
You also have children, surely.
Spirographs, I'm coming. No, I don't know. I've not seen one in 2 decades, 3 decades.
Anyway, it looks like a spirograph, which is really cool.
That's cool. I'll load it up now because I think it looks like crazy eyes. That's what I think.
Like cat eyes.
Yeah, look at this. Ooh. There you go. Draw a bit of a smiley face there. Ooh, hang on. Right. Anyway, good. We'll go back to this. But so there's that. And then probably the most important part of this is that there's an overarching community goal, and they haven't said what they all do yet, but they've released the first three levels of it. And they say the community goals start at 400 million combined deposited fractaline. And there's 7 stages all up. And each stage that we can see so far anyway goes up by 300 million. So there's a shader as a reward for contributing to that. But I think that it's going to build towards something that is greater than that. So, I mean, I guess all bets are off. Everyone's sort of umming and ahhing about what happens with trials. This is something that's pretty heavily tied to the lighthouse and whatnot. What do you reckon, Matty? You're willing to have a punt?
Yeah, I mean, I'll maybe do something.
Be brave.
Look, I think I always play the most Destiny when there's a raid about, and when there's some new activity and new raid and new content like that. That's probably when I play the most, because I just think that raids are the pinnacle of a Destiny experience, and I just love that experience. So I don't play a huge amount during sort of, I don't know, these sort of down times. I'll think about it. Look, the thing is, I need more lore. I'm running out of lore stuff to talk about. I'm scraping the bowl. My next video is why Destiny is called Destiny. I'm running out of ideas.
What about where are all the toilets in the tower? Have you done that one yet? I haven't seen a single toilet. Where do Guardians shit?
To be honest, they probably just let their bladders explode and fucking let the ghost heal them.
Just shit their pants and then throw themselves off a cliff and revive themselves so they don't have to clean themselves up. That took fucking 10 minutes. Seriously. We're already.
You know, that's the shit you would do.
Oh yeah.
Let's not get into
it.
He's doing a quick revive.
He's doing a quick res because he shat himself. Died of embarrassment. Yeah, so if you're new to the podcast and you're wondering what the fuck it's all about, that's basically it. Guardian shit jokes and a bit of news tied in between. So the interesting part of this is, for me, that it doesn't require the season pass to contribute to, which I thought it did. I thought all of this Saint 14 shit was tied in with the season pass and that it only had access to it if you'd participated in that, but clearly not. So I guess if you don't have the season pass and you just want to be a good bloke and get out there and help, or Lady Guardian, you can do that, which is cool.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I personally, I'll take a punt, and I reckon they're going to bring back something in the order of trials. Once this
where does this
restoration.
come from? Why is everyone saying this?
I just think it's out of hope, really. I think everyone's desperate to get some kind of love shown to the Crucible, right? Now, I don't think that now is particularly going to be great for trials. It's the time to launch it. I think it's going to there's going to be issues. There's going to be teething problems, and I think that in a month's time after launch, people will be wondering why the fuck they were screaming about it.
Did people actually data mine it?
Yeah, well, I'm not getting into what's been data mined. I've not read it, so I'm just speculating as a random pundit. We kind of have always taken that approach on the DDU, that we don't talk about things until they're actually in game, or there's some kind of news release, or it's so fucking obvious in game that we can't help but talk about it. So we'll go.
Do you know what I would be most excited about for fucking trials?
What?
Well, you know the answer. The law. Like what? Like we never had that question answered. We never had the question why Osiris was running the trials of Osiris.
But he wasn't.
They never fucking answered that question.
He wasn't. It was just Brother Vance. And Brother Vance turned out to be a fanboy, and the whole thing was based on jack shit, really. So they were running trials for Osiris by proxy without even really knowing Osiris, being douchies. And that's it. So maybe Osiris comes back and goes, that wasn't such a bad idea after all. Might give it a fucking... Yeah,
because I guess he already left, right? He already left the tower.
Yeah, he was gone before all that sort of shit happened. So I think, I mean, they could retroact it. I mean he's around now.
That disappoints me that the answer to that question was that Brother Vance fucking fanboyed and made this stupid fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, like if he was a fanboy in the modern era, it would have been like the trials of One Direction or something incredibly cringy like that. But here we are. We live and learn. The other thing that is touched on in the TWAB this week is the fact that you can now get rewards in-game in Destiny for having a Twitch Prime membership. So all you've got to do is have a Twitch Prime membership, go in and claim the reward through the Twitch Prime website, and you can get your mitts on the Suros regime, which is actually pretty strong again. Or I don't know. I mean, I only used it recently, so it was pretty good. The coup de main ornament for the Suros, the Skyline Flipside exotic ghost shell, and the unsecured Outcry exotic ship. So they're all actually relatively cool looking items. So if you don't have them yet, or if you're new to Destiny and you didn't pick them up on the first spin round, absolutely go in and do that. I finally pulled my finger out and got Twitch Prime after being around Twitch for like 4 years. I did that this morning. So yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Look, you know what's interesting? It's just how far ahead Twitch is on these kind of integrations. Like, you're not going to see a fucking mix of prime time coming up anytime soon. You're not going to see even YouTube. Like, I'm like, well, what about me? I stream on YouTube when I do Destiny stuff like that. That's never got like
cool. You can have this shit sandwich that doesn't exist. It's I don't know. I mean, like
Google. They're so fucking backwards on YouTube. I don't know.
I just think that it's like Twitch have the stranglehold on it because they were the biggest and the first. It's like McDonald's. Yeah. They're like the McDonald's of streaming. They're fucking everywhere. So they're the logical point of, you know, like I imagine that most of these things are sorted out by the companies rather than by Twitch themselves. I don't think Twitch is going around chasing up developers for like, hey, can we get some stuff to put in our thing? I think it's probably...
I don't know, man.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I reckon
that I'll say it out loud.
I reckon they would have a division that was
like an integrations division.
Yeah, that was dedicated to integrations into games. You know, like it literally was the thing that sparked Tarkov taking off. was their integration they did.
Yeah.
They did it a bit different from Destiny. They actually did essentially the more you watch Twitch, you actually got random drops. So it'd be like,
could you imagine if Destiny did that? How fucking...
Yeah, this would be the equivalent in Destiny. You watch and it wasn't like a small amount of time. Like you could get a drop in a couple hours of watching, or you could get a drop in like 10 hours of watch time, right? So people were just leaving their computers on to watch. But the equivalent to what they were doing in Tarkov for Destiny would be that you could get exotics drop just from watching. And it could drop anywhere between an hour of watch time to up to 8 hours of watch time.
Honestly, I'm going to... If you're listening to this or you're watching this, either tweet at us or hit the YouTube comments and tell us how you feel about it. But personally, as long as they're not the raid exotics, I wouldn't have an issue with them dropping exotics in an integration in that capacity for Destiny. I'd be cool with it. I reckon it's actually it'd be a fucking really well received thing. Like the hardest things to get in Destiny right now aren't the exotics, except for like 1K voices and all that sort of stuff that you've got to really be running the raids for. They're the god rolls of weapons like spare rations. So, sorry, fucking random burp. So it's like Sloth Spirit just fucking got me for it. Talking about him like he's dead. He's not. He's fine, at least as far as I know. But I think that like, you know, like the items that people really chase hard in Destiny now are the spare rationsy stuff, the god rolls of legendary weapons, not particularly the exotics. So I don't really have an issue with people spending time in streams to get exotics. I'd do it. I'd do it for the characters that I don't play because I've got everything for the Titan, but I don't have all the stuff for the Hunter or the Warlock. So it'd be cool for that. I reckon. I don't know. What do you think? Let us know what you think.
Well, this is the thing, right? So Tarkov went from all the guys that were playing Tarkov, and they probably have between 1,000 and 3,000 concurrent viewers, which is still a lot for a game in beta. That's still like
yeah, it's impressive.
And there's probably a handful of dudes that were sitting at that. The guys, those handful of people that were getting 1,000 to 3,000 went up to getting 100,000 concurrent viewers, mate, because people wanted to have the stream on to get the loot. And then that just created this fucking snowball effect where all the big Twitch streamers like, what's this game with 100,000 concurrent viewers? There's a Dr. Disrespect came over, like all of them. And then they like the game. Now, Destiny's been around for a long time, so you're not going to get that same impact. But I don't know. I sort of like that model a bit better than just linking your Prime account.
Yeah, for me, it feels like, you know, you get one go at it. It's predetermined. There's no chance in it. There's not a lot of excitement in it. It's just really waiting to see what they release month on month to do it, right? Like in the current system.
But then again, did you buy a Twitch Prime account because of this?
I bought a Twitch Prime account because I've been procrastinating about it for years. And now I thought,
so it's sort of,
might as well. I've already got all the shit anyway. It makes no difference to me, but like, I just thought, yeah, all right, now's
support
the time,
the initiative.
Whatever. Yeah. So in that front, yeah, I guess I did do it because of this drive. But I do think that, I mean, was it linked through Twitch Prime? Is that with Tarkov? Was it linked through Twitch Prime?
No. Okay. You just had to have a Twitch account.
That's a different kettle of fish again. Like if we're saying do a Twitch Prime thing, so you have to pay your $7 a month or whatever it is to then get a chance at an exotic to drop for watching a stream, I think that might leave a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths. But if it's just random and you can get it by linking your Steam account or your Destiny profile to your Twitch, then I actually think could be really positive. And
I don't think this initiative is going to like dramatically boost Twitch numbers or anything like that. Obviously, they might sell more Twitch Primes just like you did. People that like were on the fence or like have been meaning to do it but hadn't done it, or like I think you'll get some conversions there, but I don't think we're going to see a massive. Well, actually, this is the thing that could happen now is that now you have a Twitch Prime membership that you can give to someone.
Like a sub.
A sub, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's why I did it. Because I've been paying nearly that much for subs, so I can just do that and give someone the sub instead.
So some of the top sort of streamers in the Destiny directory might get a bit of a boost in their Prime memberships, which would be nice.
Yeah, and I think that's always a really strong thing for Destiny when there are reasons like, and we've only got to look back a couple of weeks to when the whole big coding puzzle was going on. And you look at, that propelled Glad to being the 4th most subscribed fucking streamer on Twitch, which is fucking massive for a game like Destiny that is, like pretty niche. It's not super fucking widely played.
I never would have thought you would get those numbers in Destiny.
So, good on him. He's obviously making a killing out of doing what he loves, but also it's great to see Destiny up there in lights as well. And I think the more we can do things like that encourage not necessarily, like lining people's pockets or anything like that, but sort of bringing our community together in a focused way that can raise the profile of it on Twitch. Because you've only got to look at what happened with Tarkov to see the power of like Twitch views, right? Like so many people found out about Tarkov because of that, and it exploded because of that. So I think that I don't know. I hope this goes some way towards pumping it up a little bit, but I think that there's definitely more could be done. It'd be very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is one of those bundles rolling out every month for the next till mid-year, I think. So there's 6 of them all up. So it'll be interesting to see what else they stuff into them. I think it'll be pretty run-of-the-mill stuff that most of us will already have anyway. So it's probably more for the new light players that are just coming to Destiny now and don't have that stuff already. So
that'd be easy exotic grab.
The other thing that happened this week on Tuesday Australian time that was a bit scary, no, Wednesday Australian time, that was a bit scary for everyone was the update that came in and it didn't completely fuck the game, but it removed people's glimmer, it removed people's infusion materials and things like that, enhancement cores and all sorts of stuff. So there was a bit of a period of Destiny for about an hour or 2 hours or whatever it was where you could go in and crap your pants that you've got no money and all your infusion fuel's gone. And then they took the game down again to fix it, roll it back, give everyone their stuff back. So the long and short of it is if you played during that time period and you made any significant progress, that will be undone. You'll probably have to go and do that again. So anything you gained is basically gone. Any purchases that you made, though, if you jumped in and did stuff through the Steam store or whatnot, that you'll still have that because that is a client server side thing. Like that lives with Steam, not with Bungie's servers, and not with the items in game. So there's a big event, and a lot of people were very, very upset. But there was always the ringing. The screeching of the hounds on Twitter.
Yeah, I think someone tweeted me they lost their law from the pigeon, the same 14 corridors of time law that you get. I don't know whether they had done that. Oh. But that was already over, right?
Yeah, that would have been shut because it was after the weekly reset. It was after the update came on. I mean, there is a glitch going around where you can have unlocked all of that stuff, but you can't actually get into the Triumph to tick it off. SAS has got that, I think. I think that's, if I'm understanding that correctly, and they know that they're going to fix it in coming weeks. It'd fucking trigger me if I went in every time I went into my menu. There was a glowing thing that I couldn't. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't bother you at all, mate. You just don't even read the things like Tarky today. And the guy's like, "Can you click that thing? It's triggering me."
Yeah, you should have seen. You see when I get on Destiny, all the crap is in my post. Well, I get that constant warning. Your postmaster is almost full. You will start to permanently lose items. Please clean it.
But yeah, so that was the deal with that. It's unfortunate, but it's probably the first time in my memory, at least, that there's been a huge issue with a patch like that. And I think it sort of speaks to the quality of the stuff that Bungie normally do in that, nothing really goes wrong typically. And there's a heap of content coming in and going out of the game now. So, hats off that they managed to get it done and sorted in a few hours. And I'm sure it was a shitty day for everyone involved. But, that is what it is. That is what it is.
It happens. All
right. Well, that's basically about the size of the TWAB, beyond the fact that Bungie is still doing an amazing job selling their Bushfire Appeal shirts that go to the RFS and Wires, I believe. Jump in there and do it. It is pretty heartwarming as an Aussie to jump in and be playing and see those emblems pop up in game. I've not yet. I mean, it's not my style to have a pretty little star emblem, but I can't bring myself to take it off.
I haven't put mine on yet. I've got the code somewhere. I've got to put mine on.
Yeah, so
I bought two.
Wow. You're going to give one
Do
away?
they give you two? They don't give you two emblems, though, do they?
I don't know. I only bought one. I've got. I don't know.
I should have bought them separately. I bought two in the same shipping. I think I only got one emblem.
You mugged yourself.
Fuck. Mugged myself.
You mugged yourself. All right. Well, what we might do, we might jump into our traditional little bit of a preview of what Matt's got coming out on the Law channel this week, which is incredibly vague. Why Destiny is called Destiny. If you want to hear a little bit about that, is it because it's the Bestiny? Is that? I knew you were going to pull that
how many years have we been doing this podcast?
Too many. I don't know. It's like 3, maybe.
You've never suggested any law answer that is even fucking close to being correct. I know that's probably intentional, but it's.
Yeah, I mean, I like being the idiot. That's the thing. If you play the idiot, no one expects it when you're not. So it's just my way of keeping people off guard and lowering expectations at the same time.
So, I mean, it's a bit of a Destiny is an odd name. Like it's odd for a couple of reasons because it's a relatively common word, and typically, if you're gonna make a new game, you don't want to call it something really common because it's gonna be fucking hard to find. Then you're gonna start doing shit like Destiny, the game, just like if you have a YouTube channel, you have something else. You got to put Destiny YouTube. It's not very unique.
Yeah.
But I actually found. So anyway, there's an unveiling lore entry that specifically references Destiny, and I'm pretty sure it explains why it's called Destiny. And so I go into from a lore point of view, why it's called Destiny, but I also talk about an article that was written quite a while ago now by I can't remember the outlet. They interviewed one of the main dudes, which also leaves my mind. I just know that Barry was in there. It was basically like 3 people that came up with
I'm pretty sure Jason Schreier wrote it.
No, it wasn't Jason Schreier's one, but he might have written about it as well.
He definitely did, about what we were talking about the other day. Yeah. Yep.
But our friend of the show, Christopher Barrett, was there on the inception of Destiny, essentially, when it was, and that Destiny was his code name. That was the code name before they had a name for Destiny. And they were deciding what kind of game it was going to be. And apparently every Friday they would have, a round table and name suggestions, and nothing ever. I would love to know what other suggestions. That's my top. They could probably share that information. We need to know.
What were the top suggestions for the name of Destiny that weren't Destiny?
Yes.
This is dangerous, man, because like going back to the band days, we would write songs and then not name them. They'd be called stupid shit, just ripping each other off or whatever. We had a song called Witch's Tits, and it was called Witch's Tits right up until the point where we recorded it. We're going to put it on an album, and then we had to name it and call it. So I can't even remember what we fucking called it, but like it was always called Witch's Tits. So maybe that's just what's happened with Destiny, and that it just became known as that by default because nothing was, it was the zingiest thing.
And that's exactly what happened. Apparently, like they just couldn't find anything that really fit the game, and it just stuck. And the code name became the actual name of the game, which was called Destiny. And the irony was that I'm pretty sure it was codenamed Destiny because they had such big boots to fill from Halo. So this was Bungie's Destiny, right? That's sort of like the pun in
it's a little bit wanky, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like a double irony in that fact that Destiny fucking bombed hard like when it came out. So, we got Halo, we got to live up to Halo. The code name's called Destiny. This is going to be our next big piece. Fucking bombed hard, but now we recovered. And the triple irony in it is then that Luke Smith, when they left Activision, his famous quote taken from the Vault of Glass being, Guardians make their own fate, which is a reference to we make our own destiny, which is a reference to them leaving Activision and having fuller control over their game. So it's got an interesting backstory, I think. I mean, this is all from an article, so I don't know how true it is, but hopefully it's pretty accurate. It seems legit. So that's one reason. Now I'm going to quiz you.
Yep.
And quiz chat. And the answer is not the Destiny. Why Destiny is called Destiny is because it's the Destiny. That's not the answer. But why when you think about why it's called Destiny, do you have an idea of from the lore?
Honestly, up until probably the Corridors of Time sort of stuff, I would have just thought that it was like a cool, vague name that was kind of like fantasy and not fantasy. But now I actually think that, like, given that we're getting into the timeliney, wibbly wobbly stuff where we've gone and seen our own grave, and we've rescued Saint 14 by giving him a weapon in his past to rescue him in his future, and all this sort of stuff, that maybe the things that we're going through are, at least to some extent, preordained. And this has been a 4.5, 5-year quest, or however long it's been, of us going through and fulfilling our destiny to reach its endpoint. So I don't know whether that's on the money or not, but like that is the way I kind of start to think about it now. Maybe they've gone a long way about sort of displaying to people why it's named that. It's the longest boil of all time.
It's definitely a long boil. I think that's definitely it's on the right track, I think. And someone in chat said to become legend. I think that's even closer. Let me read you this bit of lore and see if it changes your mind. Okay, so this is from the Unveiling Lore book, and this is essentially a conversation. This is the darkness speak. This is from the perspective of the darkness. Okay. Yep. The gardener's the light, the darkness is the winnower, and this is the darkness talking. So it says, the gardener is all in. They are playing for keeps, and they are wrong. Also, I argue. For after all, the universe is undecidable. There is no destiny. We're all making this up as we go along. Neither the gardener nor I know for certain that we're eternal, universally right. But we can be nothing except what we are. You have a choice. You are the gardener's final argument. It would mean everything if I could convince you that I am the right and only way. I truly value you. To the gardener, you are a means to an end. To me, you are majestic. Majestic. You are full of the only thing worth anything at all.
I thought there was going to be like a big word at the end there.
No.
I was waiting for you're full of the only thing worth anything at all. Destiny.
No. So
what that's saying is literally the exact opposite of what I just said, in that there is no fucking destiny.
Exactly.
Great.
Exactly. So
anyway,
it's basically presenting. The cool thing is presenting two sides of this, is that there is no destiny, right? And we make our own fate, which is almost what you're saying too, but it's just a different way of saying it. It's like, this is basically saying we have control, and we actually have a lot of references for that because we are paracausal, right? We actually make our own fate because we are uninfluenced by a lot of things in the universe. We can be revived. We can fly. We don't obey the laws of physics. Like, we make our own fate in that regard. And so this comes back to the Vault of Glass and how we can actually influence the Vex and fight against them. So my interpretation is why it's called Destiny is almost aligned with the original sort of Bungie reason. It's sort of ironic in a way. It's the irony.
It's a game
of
called
it is,
Destiny about a distinct lack of it.
Yes, exactly.
I'll allow that. I like that. That would be poetic in a way.
Yes, and that's why it's really funny, because it's poetic in so many ways. From Bungie naming it to imagine a game called Destiny about immortal guardians. We know how it ends. They never die. But there's irony in it. Can we eventually be killed?
Yeah, and that's really the only destiny in it, right? Like, I don't know. It's funny.
So then you say, well, everyone's destiny, everyone's fate is the same. Even in a universe where you have immortality, someone will find a way to kill you. And that's what the Corridors of Time showed us.
Yeah, yeah. So
that we still die.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bewildering. I look forward to seeing how you've managed to fucking put this into a easy video that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Because
but so the actually, I'll give you the punchline at the end. This is how I described it. This is how I like to imagine it, right? Because I really like this imagery of a cosmic chess match.
Yep.
And that's sort of what some of the writers have talked about in the past. And I consider the light and the darkness as being the players. They're overlooking the chessboard. They're like the gods. They're even beyond a god. They are the force behind the game. The game being the chess match. And in the beginning, all the chess pieces were following the rule. Okay, pawns could only move 2 squares forward, a square forward or 2 squares forward. They could only attack diagonally. Everyone was following the rules. And the light and the dark had forces on both sides. There were dark pieces and there were white pieces. But eventually, the light said, this game's fucking boring. I'm going to start breaking the rules. And basically gave free will to the chess pieces. And all of a sudden, all the chess pieces can do whatever they fucking want now, right? Some are weaker than others. Like pawns are still pawns, but they can move any angle they want and they can start doing anything they want. But you've got kings like Oryx. You've got queens like Marasov. You've got queens on the darkness side like Savathun. So you have these powerful forces all fighting against each other and they're all trying to win the game. They all control their own fate now, their own destiny. And the Vex is like the referee. The Vex is like, hey, you motherfuckers aren't playing right and they're trying to reset the board game.
I can project my family into this. Like it's a particularly aggressive power slave family game of Monopoly. like there's the me who's the chaotic. Like I'll take any advantage I can get. And then there's I like that. It changes the way you view the Vex when really all they're doing is just trying to keep the wheels on the fucking thing and have it make sense because that's all they're able to do. So yeah, okay. So what are we? We're not a king nor anything. Are we a rook? Can we?
What chess piece? I reckon would probably be a rook. I think Guardians would be close to a rook. Quite powerful, not the top. The Traveler would be the king.
No, the Traveler's the player. Because they're like that and the darkness are neither of which are on the board.
The player is the light itself.
Like your player. Okay, because the way I was looking at it is that like there's two forces that are, moving these pawns about. Anyway, holy shit, what a metaphor. Fucking hell, it's deep. I'm going to go and stare at a chessboard for 3 hours and report back. All right, well, what we might do is we'll open the chat up, and if you've got anything you want us to talk about or any observations from around the traps through the week or anything like that, you can fire away now and we'll jump on and get to them. But Maddie, we were going to launch into YouTube stuff just before. Did you want to tell a story? Did you want to tell the story of the ugly MCN divorce that you've been through?
Oh yeah, I went through an MCN divorce. So for those who don't know, MCN stands for multi-channel network. They were really popular when YouTube started to, I guess, take off and people realized you can make money from it through ad revenue. And like just how backwards the whole platform was, right? So these guys come in, they offer a bunch of services, and somehow they get Google to pay them for your content. They take a cut out and then they give the rest to you. Why the hell would Google allow a private company to come in and start skimming money off the top? And the services they used to add was like custom thumbnails, right? You couldn't get custom thumbnails unless you were partnered with the MCN back in the day of YouTube. So if you wanted...
What year was this? 1991? This
is like fucking really early on.
Okay, right.
Really, really early on.
Yeah.
Like when there were just cat videos. If you didn't want YouTube just to select a random thumbnail.
Only cat videos.
Right? Yeah, you would have to basically have an MCN. So they had perks like that. They also had things like forums, right? So I had like a dashboard, and it's basically every fucking kid going, "Hey, can you sub for sub? Can you subscribe to me, or can you watch this video?" Like it's a fucking mess.
Chaos.
Like it's not really worth the forums, to be honest. But they have forums where you can talk and do that kind of stuff. And then they added some other services which were probably fairly useful. Like if you use a lot of copyright music, because they're big companies, they might have the license on some music, and they'll offer you a bank of stuff that you could use. But like anything, like any of these fucking scams, you know, if all my videos from when I sign with the MCN, if I use their licensed music, guess what happens when I leave them? They get the license back.
Yeah, you get struck. Repeatedly struck.
I get repeatedly struck by the fucking MCN.
It's a bit insipid in that way, isn't it?
Luckily, when I started my YouTube channel, I was so nervous about copyright strike. I only have ever used Bungie assets in my videos. Bungie soundtrack, Bungie visuals, Bungie. That's all I've ever used, because I know that they gave permission and full permission to use their audio visual. So it didn't matter about that. Anyway, they have some benefits, and they're also meant to get private ads. So outside of Google ad revenue, outside of Google AdSense, they're meant to go facilitate ad sales on your channel. Now, for the last 3 years, they've never told me how much ad revenue they've brought in addition to the Google AdSense.
Shouldn't that be something that they have to report, given that
never reported to me?
Their job.
And last year, I was like, dude, because last year I started doing the numbers. I'm like, they were still taking 20%. Google takes 60, they take 20. That means I get 20% of ad, and they also were taking 20% of YouTube memberships. So YouTube memberships pay $5 a month. Google takes 60, MCN takes 20. There's fucking nothing left, man. There's nothing left. So anyway, I got it. I started doing the numbers. Like, can you show me how much ad revenue you've generated? Guess how much it was for a year?
I know, because you I was watching the stream last night when you were talking about it. Yeah.
All right, chat guess.
It's staggering.
This is for a year of content. And by the way, I would have done something like, how many millions of views would I've got in a year? I don't even know. Every video is between.
It was the release of Destiny 2 year, when you think about it. So there was some huge videos went on. Yeah.
It was primetime Destiny 2. So we would have been, I mean, I'm sitting at like 40 million total views now. So, and that's over 4 years. So let's just say on average, it was 10 million views, right? $800. 10 million views. For a year's worth of work. 10 million views, $800. I was like,
yeah,
mate, this has got to end. And I said to them, I said, look, if you want to renegotiate, let's renegotiate. You can't be taking YouTube memberships. You do nothing for that. I want reporting on the ads you sell, and you need to fucking sell way more ads, because it just doesn't make financial sense for you to take 20%. And that would have been a fucking huge year in ad revenue, because I had 1 month that was like my whole year's revenue in one fucking month when Destiny released.
Yeah.
So I was like, you got to make up for it. I actually had a really nice, I had a shitty manager, and then a really nice manager came along, and she said, yeah, look, I agree with you. You're going to lose money on us. So good on them. Good on them for eventually saying that. And like, she was really honest. I'm like, look, you got to stop taking my cut of YouTube memberships. You got to drop down the percentage of how much you take. You got to give me a report on how many private ads you sell, and it needs to be more than 10% of what you take off me. And with those three things, the only three things that I use, it didn't make financial sense.
I don't think, so I can't see that model being viable for fucking anyone. Like, honestly, I cannot. Okay. In this day and age where everything is like, your channel is squeaky clean as shit, right? Like, It is squeaky clean. There's no one that they can't market it to. It's wholesome. It's informative. and it's about a game that is generally a pretty popular game. So there's no hurdle there. It's not like the podcast where we're swearing and shit or whatever. So, dude, if they can't sell that, what can they sell?
The only thing that kept me there was the fear of copyright strikes, because I just somehow I avoided the adpocalypses and the copyright strikes. And in the back of my head, I was like, maybe it's because I got an MCN, maybe because. And whenever I got copyright striked, it got removed straight away. And I was like, maybe I have a big company fighting for me, and if something did go down, they do have lawyers. And I even asked them about that, and they're like, look, if something happened like that, once again, she was really nice about it. She's like, you would have to bring it to us personally. We would have to see if you were in the wrong, and even then, then maybe we'd get involved. I'm like, dude.
It's just all smoke and mirrors, dude. They're a classic intermediary body, man. They're one of those. They're like an on-seller. That's really all they are. They're the middleman that lines their pockets.
I'll tell you where the middleman money is at the moment and where it's going to go in the future. And this is exactly where they're pivoting to. They realize now that they can't really provide any services that YouTube already give. Because I spoke to my YouTube, because I've got a YouTube manager who actually gives me proper analytics and goes over my work with me and says, this is the stuff that's performing, this is the stuff that's not performing. And then I can ask her anything about the fucking ridiculous shit on YouTube. I'm like, hey, can you explain to me the how, if let's say someone has YouTube Red, what's it called? YouTube Premium?
Yep. Yeah.
Like, can you explain to me how if someone's got YouTube Premium and they don't see ads, what the calculation is for ad revenue? And she's like, that's a really good question. She had to go and speak to an engineer at Google to fucking come back with the formula to tell me how it works. And then I just said to her, should I be discouraging people from doing YouTube Premium? Because this sounds like I don't get fucking any money from it. She's like, yeah, basically. If YouTube Premium took off and everyone on the platform bought YouTube Premium and it was
would be
super
no
cheap,
YouTubers.
It would have literally killed every YouTuber on the platform because of the formula they use. Because they split the $10 or whatever the YouTube Premium monthly membership is, they split it as a percentage amongst however many channels that person watched. So if you watch like 10 channels,
that's $1. But if you watch 100,
right? Yeah, but take the 60% out too. So you're looking at like cents from YouTube Premium rather than your normal ad revenue. Anyway, this is why I get angry about this shit.
This is why there is two Matts. One that is the wholesome law Matt, and the other one who rips people's fucking heads off in his spare time. Mainly because of YouTube.
How the fuck did people, I don't think people understood, the guys that went from Twitch to exclusively streaming on YouTube, I do not understand.
They'd have to be negotiating their own rates, man. Either that or just copping a fucking, here's your pay packet every month. You know, like does Google care? Like, I actually can't see Google specifically changing their ad revenue rates for a single person. I think all they would do was say, like, these are your numbers, we'll pay you an X salary to compensate for us taking 60% like every month. Yeah, I reckon that'd be it. Or it'd just be, you know, whatever, here's your pay packet. We're doing it as a promo stunt, more or less, like to up interest in the platform. But I have no idea why anyone would, outside of being contracted to do so, do that. It would be financial suicide, because when you know, like, don't get me wrong, Twitch still takes a cut, but it's fucking, it's a much friendlier system.
It's 50%, I think, right? Twitch.
Yeah, rather than 60. So
yeah, I mean, that 60 is just like that big fuck you. I mean, like, that's why not make it even?
That, and the culture of subbing on Twitch is established and pretty dominant, where it's not on YouTube. Not
at all.
Yeah, so it's a different animal again. So you're going to get less return. Anyway, this has been Economics with the DDU. I hope you've enjoyed a little segue, but it's been fucking very informative.
Mark my words. This is the place where you're going to have more middlemen, and it's brands and sponsorships. So all the MCNs now are pivoting one of their main selling features is they're going to be a brand manager. So they're going to, and I actually think this might work. They're going to be big enough to reach out to brands, Nvidia and fucking Sennheiser and whatever, right? And they're going to say, we have a pool of content creators. You bring us brand deals, and they'll end up taking a cut of the brand deal too.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if they get enough brand deals and they get you a good price, that's okay. I'm okay for people working for their money. I just don't like when you take a cut, you don't fucking do anything.
Yeah, I can see that working. I can see that being a more symbiotic relationship than the way it has been.
Especially if you're like a smaller content creator and you're not big enough to get a brand manager. I think that could be beneficial. And they'll do shit like, because didn't Twitch have like bounties or some shit where they'll just have contracts on a board that you could take on and promote?
I don't know. You're talking to like a literal Twitch shit kicker, so maybe someone who's been a little bit more indoctrinated in that sense might know, but still.
Anyway, sorry for my rage.
That's fine. That's what this is here for. We're going to let it out. There's a real life aspect to the DDU, and we touch on it. I'm just going to go back to something Tamsin said a while ago. She said the only thing she wishes with the Prime Loot rewards was that they were watched to win. That way it involves everyone, and the loot was stuff that old Guardians may need. So like basically along the lines of what we were saying, where the longer you are in a stream, I mean, it's easy to justify that as a streamer. I think you can go, because it'll drive traffic, and that's great. And I think that like it raises the profile of the game, which is largely what we were talking about before. But I also don't see a problem with it because you don't need to be actively engaged, right? Like you could just, it's effectively like farming. Shit, you don't even need to really be watching it. Which there's pros and cons to that too. But I think it'd be a healthy move. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Yep. Farming.
Righto. What else have we got? Let's have a quick look.
Oh, so someone asked, wouldn't it be more profitable to do it in a podcast and get Patreon? That is exactly what I'm trying to work on. It's exactly the move I'm trying to do with Marlin Games, is to move to a podcast platform where the platform doesn't take such a huge fucking cut. And like I said, podcast guys have worked out that that's where the money is with memberships and with brand deals. So like, for example, Anchor has paid memberships. People can pay, and I can put like exclusive podcasts up there that only you can hear if you pay. I don't have to have a separate Patreon and do a fucking whole separate number of like post to members, post to non-members. It's all built into the system. And they also get you brand deals also through there. Only issue was they obviously didn't do Australia. I was like, fucking great. So now I actually emailed them and they never got back to me. So I need to like angrily tweet them to get a response about.
We'll all jump on that.
I'm a privileged streamer.
I'm gonna get cranky on Twitter. Well, yeah, I think that. I mean, you've been talking about that for quite a while, like with your stuff,
dude,
and it's really just hurdles, man.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking unreal if you could set it up with them. But
I guess my sticking point now is like, imagine if I told everyone to go listen to the podcast rather than YouTube, and everyone goes over there, and then there's no monetization there. I'm like, great, I might as well just put a shotgun in my fucking mouth, like.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, wholesome family show.
Well, I was gonna say shoot myself in the foot, but I was like, it's a bit bigger than the foot. I was like, I meant to say I might as well shoot myself in the head. Metaphorically, guys.
That's
not
fucking
literally.
Grim. That is fucking grim.
Not literally.
All right. Well, what we might do is we might wrap up. We can do that. We're at the point where we've talked ourselves to a standstill. And I guess given there's a third less people on the podcast, it's probably a third less time that we need to be talking. But
that's true. But well, it was a bit of a skinny
I mean, we're at that point. Like Empyrean Foundation or whatever it is kicks off next week. We're going to know a little bit more about what that's about. So, and we'll have a probably better idea of what it is we're building towards on the community front, which that's a dynamic that interests me. Like, I like these, when they haven't done it for a long time actually, but when Bungie used to do the sort of metrics about, who was doing what and how many hours were played of this. And I'm looking forward to seeing something like that along the lines of that with the Fractaline. Like, this is how many in the first 24 hours were deposited. Because I feel like there's just going to be a blitz of people dumping stuff. So it'll be interesting. It'll be good. But yeah, Matty, well, fuck, I better do the sign off. I better do the sign off. So we just want to give a quick shout out and a thanks to literally everyone that watches this podcast and has supported it so far. So whether you're listening on one of the audio platforms or whether you're watching it on YouTube, just don't be afraid to say good day. Jump in the comments or hit us on Twitter if there's anything that you would like to see us discuss on next week's show. We're always open to suggestions on things like that. So unless you're a negative dickhead, then need not apply. But aside from that, thank you for your time and thank you for sticking with it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Matty, what's the law doing this week?
The law will find you because it's its destiny. Or is it?
Oh, fucking, I knew it was going to be something really... All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Stand by for a raid. Bye.